evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Wednesday, September 20, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. We don't want a palace. President Ali shuts down British talk show host on reparative justice. Guyana will spare no effort in defending its sovereignty, President Ali informs UN, as more entities denounce Venezuela's intimidation tactics. President Ali calls out unfair global positions at UN, lobbies for help for Haiti, urges end to embargo against Cuba. Rio mulls police involvement after NBC overseer caught pocketing salaries for fake part-time workers. And government demands driver in roundabout accident repay $2.1 million spent to fix damages. Now for the news in detail. President Dr. Irfaan Ali has defended his position on the need for reparative justice, shutting down insinuations by British talk show hosts during today's Good Morning Britain episode. In our lead story tonight, Vanu Manichan reports that the Guyanese leader reminded of the atrocities of slavery and how countries like England continue to benefit from exploitation of resources from countries like Guyana, which continues to struggle in its development.
You think that the British royal family should make a big gesture, don't you? What do you mean? Hand over a palace to your country?
Well, no, we don't want the British to hand over a palace that we built. You know, if you go into many of the palaces in Britain, you will see the lovely green heartwood from Guyana. You will see the sweat, tears, and blood of the slaves who were exploited.
So what do you want?
And the revenue that was earned from their exploitation. So we're not asking for a palace, we're asking for justice and a fair form of justice to the ancestors and to the greatest injustice that has ever been done to human beings.
We look forward to
we're not asking for palaces. You can enjoy the palace, and when we visit you, we'll also enjoy it.
That was President Dr. Irfaan Ali taking on the hosts of ITV's Good Morning Britain show during an interview on reparations for slavery. Questioned about why current generations should carry the burden of their ancestors, the Guyanese head of state reminded that those persons are beneficiaries of the wealth gained from the slave trade.
You are one of the beneficiaries of that slave trade. So this is not a burden. You should be concerned and you should pay, because you today are still benefiting from the greatest indignity to a human being, and that is the slave trade. And not only did you benefit during the slave trade and your country developed, but look at what it caused the developing world. During slavery, resources was used to build your country, build up your capacity. You were able to then become competitive. You were able to invest in mechanization, and developing countries like ours were left behind. So you should be very concerned, because you are a prime beneficiary of the exploits of slavery.
President Ali further explained that the payout of reparations can easily be calculated based on the extraction of wealth from former British colonies.
The extraction of wealth from countries like ours and how it was utilized to build your society, build your country, create wealth in your country, and then add the time value of money, and you will get the value. There is enough literature to tell us what that value is. But I want to say that it is not only the value, it is the loss of time. It is the loss of competitiveness. It is the loss of human dignity. It is a loss of our education system. It is the culture that we lost. It is all of this indignity that surrounded slavery that we must consider.
The head of state also referenced the 10-point plan issued by the Caribbean community on reparative justice for the region, which racks up to billions of dollars. Only last month, Charles Gladstone, descendant of John Gladstone, whose family benefited from African enslavement and indentureship on the Demerara and other plantations owned by its patriarch, officially apologized for slavery and indentureship in Guyana. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
In his address to the United Nations General Assembly earlier today, President Dr. Irfan Ali drew attention to issues affecting regional countries. He highlighted the disparity between international support for other nations against that given to Haiti. Vanu Manichan joins us again to report that the head of state also reiterated calls for an end to the embargo against Cuba.
President Dr. Irfan Ali told the United Nations General Assembly on Wednesday that while Guyana remains in full solidarity with the people of Ukraine and renew calls for greater efforts to end the aggression of Russia, there has been a stark disparity in international support shown to the European nation against countries in other regions that have been undergoing various crises.
We have noted that since the war began in Ukraine more than a year ago, the developed world provided approximately $220 billion in support to Ukraine. The World Bank has added more than $37.5 billion in emergency financing, almost $260 billion mobilized in less than 2 years. On the other hand, aid to the Palestinian people over a period of 26 years amounted to just over $40 billion. According to figures compiled by the OECD. Haiti receives just over $20 billion in aid for reconstruction and development over the past 60 years. African countries were recipients of just over $113 billion over a 3-year period to fight hunger.
According to President Ali, while Guyana is cognizant of what Ukraine justly requires from the international community, this disparity in support cannot be ignored.
I cannot overlook the disparity in the approach to other countries and regions of the world. This must be corrected. Clearly, this is a demonstration of an unjust ecosystem surrounding and supporting development financing, peace and security. Importantly, it also proves that if truly committed, mechanisms do exist to unlock financing at scale.
Moreover, the Guyanese leader called for urgent action to be taken to find a solution to the ongoing economic and political crisis in the Caribbean nation of Haiti.
The ongoing crisis in Haiti is of grave concern. Urgent and decisive action must be taken to secure a comprehensive solution. I commend the offer of the governments of Kenya and Rwanda to lead the multinational force in Haiti, as well as the offers by the Bahamas and Jamaica. Guyana is committed to working closely with partners within the UN and CARICOM frameworks to find a long-lasting, stable, and sustainable solution to the Haitian crisis, so that our Haitian brothers and sisters can live in peace and dignity.
Similarly, President Ali also reiterated Guyana's support for Cuba and the end of the embargo against the country.
The Republic of Cuba has been the object of aggression for more than 6 decades. We repeat our call for the dismantling of the unacceptable embargo against our sister Caribbean state. The economic and political aggression, along with the designation of Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism, must come to an end.
The Guyanese leader also reaffirmed Guyana's long-standing solidarity with the Palestinian people and called on the UN members to do more to move past rhetoric so that the peace process can progress. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchan.
In light of Venezuela's threats against the recently concluded bid round of Guyana's oil blocks' auction, President Dr. Irfan Ali today also told the United Nations that Guyana would continue to push for a peaceful settlement of the border controversy between the two nations. On Tuesday, the Spanish-speaking nation issued a communique attacking Guyana for putting up for bid several oil blocks in its territorial waters. Venezuela is laying claim to more than 2/3 of Guyana's landmass and a portion of its exclusive exclusive economic zone, in which almost 11 billion barrels of oil have been discovered over the past 8 years, and oil production as well as exploration activities are ongoing. According to President Ali, the document issued by the Venezuelan government is a threat to both regional and international peace and security, as well as to Guyana's investment partners. Let's have a look at the head of state's remarks on the border controversy during his address to the United Nations General Assembly earlier today.
It is sad, however, that 57 years after Guyana's independence, we remain threatened. Venezuela's efforts to undermine our freedom, sovereignty, and territorial integrity are today before the International Court of Justice, as decided by the UN Secretary General under the Geneva Agreement of 1966. The ICJ's jurisdiction in the matter has been twice affirmed by the court. We are confident that Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity will also be affirmed when the court issues its final judgment. I regret to inform you that Venezuela's threats continue. Just last night, Guyana received a very threatening message from Venezuela. It came in the form of a communique attacking Guyana for putting certain oil blocks in our sovereign waters of forbid. Guyana considers this a threat to regional and international peace and security, as well as to Guyana's investment partners. We demand that Venezuela honors its obligation under the Charter to pursue only peaceful means to settle any disputes it may have with Guyana, including adjudication before the International Court of Justice. Allowing the court to decide would ensure a resolution that is peaceful, equitable, and in accordance with international law. Guyana will spare no effort in defending its sovereign and territorial integrity. I express appreciation to every member of the international community that has continued to support Guyana's effort to preserve its sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Meanwhile, Venezuela's attempts to intimidate Guyana amid its oil blocks' auction continue to attract criticism, with the Organization of American States, the Guyana government, and the country's parliamentary opposition denouncing the Spanish-speaking country. Jarl Bryan reports.
Venezuela had issued a communique on Tuesday in which it protested against Guyana's oil block auction, even though all the blocks are in Guyana's sovereign territory. On Wednesday, Organization of American States OAS General Secretary Luis Almagro denounced Venezuela's utterances from his Twitter account. Almagro made it clear that intimidatory tactics seeking to undermine the principles of good neighborliness have no place in diplomacy. The General Secretary further affirmed Guyana's right to welcome investors and noted that Guyana must preserve its territorial integrity and security. This, according to Almagro, must be done at the International Court of Justice, where Guyana currently has a case against Venezuela. The state's position was also reinforced by a statement released by the government. According to the statement, Guyana considers Venezuela's latest utterances as a threat not only to Guyana, but to regional and international peace and security. Additionally, it is considered a threat to all Guyana's current and potential investment partners. It was pointed out that under international law, Guyana is entitled to the resources in its exclusive economic zone. Venezuela was therefore urged to approach the right, peaceful channels if it has any grievances with Guyana's management of its own resources. A statement was also forthcoming from the APNU AFC parliamentary opposition, who threw their support behind the government's denunciation of Venezuela. The opposition affirmed Guyana's right to pursue economic activities in its sovereign territory without Venezuelan attempts to undermine that sovereignty. Jarl Bryan, The Evening News.
While there is no shortage of ideas from the developing world on how to achieve net zero carbon emission, financing remains a challenge that must be tackled in a realistic and holistic way. This was according to President Dr. Irfan Ali while participating in a Clinton Global Initiative panel discussion on Tuesday. Here is Jarl Bryan again with the details.
During his appearance on the Clinton Global Initiative panel, President Dr. Irfan Ali spoke of Guyana's aspirations to create a regional energy hub. The plan is also to be a net exporter of energy, most of which will be sourced from renewable energy. President Ali noted that while the region has all these plans and more, the financing challenge makes it difficult for the region to reach their development targets.
You have a situation where in Latin America and the Caribbean, we need $2.2 billion to achieve 4 important SDGs. You have debt to GDP ratio of 117%. In Guyana case, we are 26.4%. You have inflation that is double digit. And you have to marry that whilst at the same time find the resources to go towards a renewable transition and moving towards net zero.
According to the president, however, the conversation on net zero has suddenly changed into stopping petroleum production. He noted that the shifting of the goalposts has suddenly removed the balance from the conversation.
Now, the issue here is that the conversation towards net zero has suddenly changed. The conversation about stopping petroleum. And that is where we have a problem. We will remove the balance from this conversation if every NGO, every actor has now shifted the goalposts from achieving net zero to stopping petroleum. You know, I just scanned the news this morning, and every news item was about death stop to petroleum, not the transition to net zero. And the conversation on transition to net zero is far different from stopping petroleum.
On Monday, at the high-level political forum on sustainable development at the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, President Ali had also highlighted the need for greater finances. The president had drawn attention to the failure of the international community to deliver on these commitments. Joe O'Brien, The Evening News.
Coming up, absolute nonsense, Manik Chand on claims that nothing has been done for teachers, and government aiming to drive more investments with upcoming agri-expo, says Mustafa. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles.
Superbet, your best bet. Did you know that you have a chance to win up to 50 million with sport betting? Simply place your bets at www.superbet.gy for your chance to be the next lucky millionaire. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.
The biggest party in sport is back. CPL returns with more action than ever before.
Are you kidding me? Ollie!
Watch the biggest names in cricket battle it out in the race for glory.
Brilliantly! Celebrate some more!
Get your tickets now at cplt20.com or at the box office. Join the party. Experience cricket played louder.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. While making it clear that all relevant criminal charges will also be instituted, the government is demanding that the driver responsible for the accident at the new roundabout at the Eccles-Mandela 4-lane road repay the $2.1 million it took to repair the damage he caused. Here are the details from Rupa Sinarayan.
Troy Humphrey, the driver responsible for damaging the new roundabout at the intersection of the Eccles to Mandela 4-lane road and the Dumpsite road on the east bank of Demerara during an accident, will have to repay $2.1 million for the repairs executed. Through the Attorney General's chambers, a letter was dispatched to the driver on Wednesday, informing him that he has 14 days to repay the money that was spent to fix the damages. On September 15th at 21 hours 40, motor vehicle with registration number PAB 805, owned and driven by the Norton Street resident, collided into the roundabout. Reports from the Ghana Police Force's investigation, including video footage of the accident, disclosed that the driver operated the vehicle recklessly and at a fast rate of speed while proceeding on the eastern carriageway of the said road. Upon approaching the intersection where a roundabout and road markings are visibly placed to regulate the movement of traffic, the letter indicated that Humphrey failed to stop or apply any brakes whatsoever and continued further south and collided into the roundabout. As a result of the accident, damage was caused to the water fountain and other parts of the roundabout, as well as injuries to the driver and 2 passengers. Consequently, the Ghana government expended money to effect emergency repair works to the damages caused, which cost a total of $2.1 million. Among other things, these efforts included demolition of damaged sections and removal of debris from the site, replacement of stone pavers, repairs to the fountain rails, supply and installation of tiles, drainage and degreasing of the fountain, and cleaning the fountain of oil and other contaminants. Attorney General Anil Nandlal has outlined that failure to honor the payment obligation in 14 days will result in legal proceedings instituted against the driver for recovery of the money. It was affirmed that this approach will be in addition to the institution of all relevant criminal charges disclosed, resulting from investigations conducted by the Ghana Police Force. Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
Even though he was caught red-handed engaging in fraudulent activities involving public monies, the police are yet to be called in to investigate an overseer attached to a neighborhood Democratic Council in Region 6. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael reports that the overseer had allegedly employed at least 2 government part-time workers, unknown to them, and had allegedly been pocketing their salaries.
The issue of an overseer allegedly forging the signatures of 2 men on the Johns Portmorant Neighborhood Democratic Council payroll was raised at a recent meeting of the council. The overseer, who is currently acting in the position, allegedly faked the employment of the 2 individuals as government part-time workers, unknowest to them, and was pocketing their salaries. Regional Executive Officer Navindra Prasad says the overseer was made to repay the $80,000, indicating that the sum was all that was fraudulently converted. The REO explained that it was only 1 month the overseer was able to collect the monies before being caught. Regional Commander, Senior Superintendent Shiv Prasad Baka said no matter of forgery or embezzlement at the Johns Portmorant NDC was brought to the attention of the police. The REO says he thought the Local Government Commission was dealing with that matter, but on Tuesday was informed that nothing was being done in relation to fraud. Asked if the police will be called in, the REO said he will have to seek advice in this regard. NDC councillors are of the belief that the RDC seems to be condoning the act. Hence, the issue was raised with Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibilities for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, who also has designated ministerial responsibilities for Region 6. The Evening News asked Dr. Singh about the investigations into the alleged forgery.
I have heard mention of a matter concerning an investigation at Portmorant NDC. I have requested any reports that would have documented what would have transpired, and I'm awaiting those.
With the apparent investigation launched, the overseer was not sent on administrative leave. In fact, the overseer tendered his resignation dated July 7, 2023, but it has not been accepted. He remains on the job. This newscast was able to track down the 2 persons under whose name the overseer was allegedly pocketing monies. David Babulal and Mahadio Kaulasar both said they are employed with the Rose Hall Town Municipality as part-time workers. Both of them say they never worked with the Johns Portmorant NDC. According to Kaulasar, he heard that he was on the Johns Portmorant NDC payroll and was summoned to the RDC in relation to that. Where you work?
Rosal NDC.
Have you ever worked at Portmorant NDC?
No.
But you heard that you were being paid at Portmorant?
I've been here, I've been a region 1 time already. See, I've been in. And I'm trying to buy in, I've been in buying a paper. And I've never worked at Portmorant.
You tell me Call Abin, and I will go afternoon check like he call in Avi, I meet about 4 o'clock. And after we reach 4 o'clock, then he put up if he sit down and he sit. And then he question Avi about where are we working? I will work at Rosalind DC. The man asked me, you sure? I say yes. So he start talking, he talk to my friend, and my friend tell us the same thing. So now the man has called me David Babular, whom place for Jamzone. I tell him one place I Jamzone, sir, Rosalind DC, and that's it. And then the man say, you sure? I say yes, yes sir. And then he call Abby now, around him now, where he sit up in a chair, call Abby, and he take out 2 papers, one Rosalind DC and one postman in DC. Now the man say what? I have Jamzone 2 places.
When you saw the 2 papers that the REO showed you all, did he show that you all signed on the paper for Port Morant?
No. I've been signed that. I've signed every Rosalind.
But the one for Port Morant had any signature on it?
Yes, signature, one Abby signature. It doesn't correspond to Abby.
But is your name?
Yeah.
Babulal explained how someone at the Port Morant NDC might have been able to obtain personal information about them, including their national identification card numbers.
We went there first for a job. After the Magidi 10-day work, we go there and they ask us if you have your ID card and your phone number and whatever. I will give them. They take everything. So they said, oh, call away when they get through with the job for us. So, and they never call us. And so come, we go, the mayor called me and he asked me if I want to work. I said yes.
Back in February of this year, Region 6 Chairman David Armagon had stated that the Ministry of Local Government was investigating an alleged unethical hiring of scores of workers under the government 10-day $40,000 per month initiative by an NDC overseer. Subsequently, more than 40 persons who had been hired at the Johns Port Morant NDC as government part-time workers were sent home after it was found that they were not properly hired. No action was taken against the overseer. The NDC currently has 103 part-time workers attached to it.
48 persons, that is the RU, they get paid and they lay off because they were not employed, competent employment people. Some of them maybe they get back work now during this 1,000 job that come.
Meanwhile, in March of this year, a lorry which was purchased by the Johns Port Morant NDC was purchased in the name of the very overseer. The vehicle was being used for garbage collection and was bought with the NDC's 2022 $3 million subvention from central government. According to the REO, the Local Government Commission is dealing with that issue as well. Meanwhile, the NDC is being taken to court for allegedly not paying $1.6 million to a contractor for the installation of lights. The NDC had received the funding for the project in its 2021 subvention. The overseer had informed the council that the monies have been spent. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Education Minister Priya Manik-Chand has rubbished claims that the government is not doing anything at all for teachers. Find out more in this LaWanda McAllister report.
There are reports that a large number of teachers, particularly from Regions 4 and 6, did not show up for work last week as part of a sit-out to put pressure on the government to do more for educators. The silent protest was reportedly initiated by the Guyana Teachers Union. Asked on Tuesday to respond to this form of industrial action, Education Minister Priya Manik-Chand asserted that the claims that the government has done nothing for teachers is a complete lie.
So we haven't closed any schools. Our schools have remained open. I know the union has been making all kinds of threats about all kinds of things based on positions that they have, not all of which are founded. You will hear the union say very well, not the union, but members of the union who have other motives and who are guided by their political bosses say things like nothing has been done for teachers, which is absolute nonsense. We are giving out right now grants to schools so that teachers have autonomy in their classrooms and teachers get to independently supply to those classrooms whatever it is they say they need to take teaching and learning further. We have given textbooks to all our primary and secondary school children or are in the process of giving those textbooks. That makes a teacher's life much, much easier when she's able to stop writing on the board all the notes and say everybody turn to page so and so. We have changed the way teachers, we issued a circular which says head teachers shouldn't teach, deputies shouldn't teach, or they have significantly reduced periods so that more supervision could happen, more management of the school. We are currently paying all our trainee teachers a full salary as opposed to $10,000 per trainee. So a whole host of things have been done.
Minister Manik Chan Further explained that the Education Ministry regularly engages with the GTU on a number of topics.
We have very many different documents currently being perused by both parties. We have a fixed kind of arrangement with the union where on any major issue we bring them in and they bring us in and we have those relations. So I think you might be falling into error when you assume that the political elements of the union are actually the union. That is not necessarily so.
On the issue of salary increases, the Education Minister made it clear that President Dr. Irfan Ali has already committed to addressing this matter. The head of state had said he will engage directly with teachers on the matter when he returns from the United Nations General Assembly, which runs from September 19th to 26th. President Ali has already promised to roll out a comprehensive remuneration package for teachers, saying in May 2023 that this scheme will not just focus on salary. Last year, President Ali announced that government will introduce clerical support for teachers to remove the burden on record keeping and give them more time in classrooms. He had also announced that the government will be establishing daycare centers across the country to provide much-needed support to teachers and young mothers. And just last week, the government approved salary adjustments for teachers who were being paid below their minimum applicable scale. Now salaries for eligible teachers and workers holding specified positions in the education sector will be raised to meet the minimum of the current scale. These adjustments will take effect from October 1st, 2023. Additionally, the government has approved the one-off payment of arrears for eligible teachers for the period September 1st, 2020 to September 30th, 2023. Lawanda McAllister, The Evening News.
Government is preparing for its second Agri-Investment Forum and Expo next month, wherein one of the key goals is to connect investors with areas in which there is potential for success, thereby expanding the sector further to achieve Vision 25 by 2025. Rupasina Ryan tells us more.
The Agri-Investment Forum and Expo will be held from October 20th to the 22nd, 2023 under the theme Achieving Vision 25 by 2025. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa on Tuesday visited the Arthur Chung Conference Center to conduct a site visit. Prior to this, Minister Mustafa met with members of the Expo's Planning and Coordinating Committee to get a status report on several critical areas such as registration, participation, finances, and logistics.
This thing is to ensure that we drive investment. We encourage people to get on board. For example, this industry that we're talking about, agro-processing, now we are encouraging that. At the end of this year, I've been seeing this across, only when we did it, last Friday, we commissioned a agro-processing facility in Charity. At the end of this year, we might have about 13 of those facilities, or early next year.
A number of heads of state within the CARICOM region are expected to attend the event. The minister also said that several corporate bodies and investors have also registered and will be participating. It is anticipated that this year's expo will be bigger, given the successes of the previous agri-investment expos that were held in Guyana and Trinidad. Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
Nearly a month after she won the highly coveted Miss Jamzone 2023 title, Traveling Harry secured her new Nissan Juke, 3 months' worth of spa services from the Refined Spa, and 2 gift cards from clothing stores. In this Pooja Rambaran report, we hear from the young queen about her mission to promote health tourism in Guyana.
Traveling Harry, who works as a nurse at West Demerara Regional Hospital, plans to use her new platform as Miss Jamzone 2023 to promote wealth and health tourism through her project Welcome to Motherhood.
It is a project where we try to help young mothers get their life back on a progressive path. So what we want to do now, we want to merge health and wellness tourism, where we're going to focus on mothers with mental health issues, because we do have a lot of mothers who go through things like postpartum depression. Yes, there might be programs there that we're dealing with, but you know, given a platform like this, I can shed a lot more light on that and bring more awareness.
On Tuesday, Harry collected her prizes at the Hits and Jams H-Day box office in Queenstown, Georgetown, alongside second runner-up Shaquana Holder, who won a cash prize of $250,000, and first runner-up Alia Wong, who won a cash prize of $500,000. The trio also received gift cards for fitness outfits from Fashion Fitness.
I am still grateful to everyone who would have contributed to this victory. I can say that I'm now getting the opportunity to get some rest, which I'm grateful for as well. Having the prize today, oh my God, it's amazing. I have my own car now, so you know, I don't have to depend on anybody. I can get around perfectly fine now on my own.
Sponsored by AJM Enterprises, Harry was also recognized for winning in the categories Miss I Can and I Will, Best Talent, and Best Fantasy Swimsuit.
My journey, it was not easy. That's how I took the prize, Miss I Can and I Will, because I had a lot of hurdles that I had to get over. But knowing that you can do something, believing in yourself, I believe you can accomplish anything, and I am a living proof of just that.
She noted that she faced challenges, particularly with juggling her time between work and the pageant. Meanwhile, all final 9 delegates will receive family gift certificates, compliments of Royal Castle, and drinks hampers, compliments of Guyana Beverages Incorporated, Fruta, Cool Kids, and Busta. Applications for the competition opened in April, and some 80 persons were narrowed down to 17, with the final 9 being selected after a round of online voting. Pageant director Wasim Khan congratulated the awardees and expressed his appreciation for the supporters and coordinators who've developed the pageant over the years.
It was overwhelming at one point to see the amount of people that was there, and we cannot thank the supporters enough for coming out and supporting not only Miss Jamzone pageant, but the Jamzone event in general, which has become a staple now in our yearly calendar. So I am pleased, and I've had the privilege for the last 2 years to work with AJ and the Jamzone committee in performing duties as pageant director for Miss Jamzone. It has been a distinct pleasure, and it has only gotten better over the last 2 years.
Khan urged prospective contestants to keep on the lookout for when applications open for Miss Jamzone 2024. Pooja Rambaran for the Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Thursday, September 21st, 2023 at 4 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Thursday, September 21st, 2023 at 7:35 hours for a period of 1.5 hours.
Darren Sammy backing GAW to win CPL 2023 and a 19-member Lady Jag squad for Women's Gold Cup qualifiers. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
Contractors, let the quality of your road constructions speak for themselves by investing in a walk-behind vibratory roller from Sylvie's. Apart from improving productivity, our roller provides better compaction for soil and asphalt. Designed with the ability to turn, this machine also offers great flexibility for precise work near walls and sidewalks. Order it now before it's gone at sylviesonline.com or at our 31 High and Hatfield Street store.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site